In the other video where we showed the investigation of David Hundeyin and analysis of others that Tinubu might be the unseen hand behind human rights lawyer Dele Farotimi's ordeal, his abduction from Lagos all the way to Ekiti and subsequent incarceration. Now they have cleared all doubts, all masks are off. The Inspector General of Police filed 12 new charges against Dele Farotimi, this time at the Federal High Court in Ekiti State. Among these charges are cybercrime charges. So within a few days, they've moved from defamation charges to cybercrime charges. What are they going to charge him for next? Treason? This is coming from the Inspector General of Police, who said that Nigeria's criminal justice system is weak, sick, and needs a complete overhaul. He said it while speaking at an event, the 2024 Annual Lecture and Award Ceremony organized by the Crime Reporters Association of Nigeria. The event was held at Ikeja, Lagos, Nigeria. He said that police is not the only pillar or stakeholder in the criminal justice system in the country. We have challenges, we accept, but we will try our best to make sure we have a better system. Continuing, he said that all of us must come together to help perfect criminal justice or justice system administration in Nigeria. If this system is working well, it is going to affect you, it is going to affect us. Also in attendance at the ceremony was the chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission, Dr. Musa Adamu, SAN. He said that corruption remains one of the most persistent challenges affecting all sectors and institutions of the Nigerian society. It undermines policy decision-making, resource mobilization and utilization, policy execution, and service delivery. Our experience at the ICPC in partnership with key stakeholders has shown that tackling corruption effectively across sectors and institutions requires a proactive, multifaceted approach. This approach should focus not only on enforcement, but also on prevention, deterrence, and systems reform. Concluding, he said that the widespread corruption within the justice system, including bribery, influence peddling, and attitudinal challenges, are more fundamental and daunting. I dare say that the justice sector remains a focal point of concern, particularly regarding bribery involving stakeholders in the justice sector. And despite limited public contact, judicial officials exhibit relatively high bribery prevalence, hence the need for targeted anti-corruption measures in this sector. Why it is important to quote all this is because this is exactly what human rights lawyer Dele Farotimi has been talking about. He has been hammering on this particular subject. He has been showing and exposing the corruption in the criminal justice system in this country. But what is his reward? The government is now charging him not only for defamation of Are Afe Babalola, but also for cyber crimes. So if these people, the IG, the ICPC chairman, and all government officials accept the fact that there is serious corruption in the criminal justice system, what then is the crime of Dele Farotimi? Well, we all know that he did nothing wrong. All these charges are meant to incarcerate him as long as possible, to silence him. The government is afraid that he might succeed in mobilizing Nigerians to start sitting at home, a form of protest that the government cannot stop. They cannot stop people from sitting at home and doing nothing. No, this is not the streets where they use police, the army to intimidate people, to shoot tear gas at them, to do all sorts of things to criminalize protest. No, when people sit in their homes, are you going to send thugs into their homes? Are you going to send police into their sitting rooms to do what exactly? To tell them to come out or go to work? So they are afraid that this kind of protest might be very successful, and it has the potential to ground this country to a halt, which will force them to do all the right things, because it's not as if they don't know all the right things. They just don't want to do it because of their agendas. They are working for foreign countries, not Nigerians. Otherwise, why all these sufferings? And when people talk about it, they want to silence them. Now, the main reason they are filing new charges and amending some and involving cyber crimes is because they know that they cannot win the defamation charge against Dele Farotimi. It's not easy to win that. The court requires them to prove it beyond reasonable doubt that Dele truly defamed Afe Babalola. And the story where he referenced Afe Babalola in his book was an actual event that happened. According to Dele Farotimi himself, he said that Afe Babalola defamed him and he sued him to court. So it was all that happened during this process of litigation that he wrote in the book. How can they turn around and say this is defamation? Let's listen to what he said while responding to Shegun on his YouTube channel.
I'm saying it is not personal. I'm saying that Afe Babalola corrupted the judiciary. And in corrupting the judiciary, it came across my practice. When I came across it, I challenged it as a lawyer and I fought it to the point where he could not enjoy the fruit of his exertion in the Supreme Court. In writing the letter that he wrote to the then Chief Justice of Lagos State, Ayomide Philip, he libeled me. He suggested that I should be derobed, that what I had done was deserving of sanction and I should have been struck off the bar. And when I saw this, knowing what I already knew of what he did, I wrote a letter asking that he should withdraw that letter that he had written that was libelous of me. And he declined. Arrogantly so, he declined. And I sued him for libel. And when I sued for libel, the machines of corruption went into overdrive, and a case that should never have been killed at the preliminary stage was killed. Everything about the case, the judge to whom it was assigned, the manner of the handling of the case, 9 months after it was adjourned for ruling, 9 months. The procedures are clear. It shouldn't be longer than 3 months. 9 months without informing us, in spite of the fact that we had written 2 letters to request to be told when the ruling will be delivered.
There's another event that happened before this one, but they didn't receive the kind of backlash his abduction has received. Because they couldn't go any further, they wanted to intimidate him into submission. Imagine Tony Elumelu saying that he defamed him just because he made a comment on social media. Let's take a listen.
I'm giving you this background because they are all germane. The gentleman, I believe DCP Nwoga, then said I should be given bail and I should go. And whenever they needed me, they would send for me. And I felt that this was classic police harassment. So I told the gentleman, I have written a statement in response to a clear allegation. There are no ambiguities. I have not denied what he claimed that I said. But I am saying that there is absolutely no crime. There is absolutely no crime to be found in what I had said. And what did I say? Somebody asked me on Twitter. Somebody tagged me and asked a question. The person asked if I thought Mr. Tony Elumelu might, in 2027, support a person like Peter Obi to become the president of Nigeria, just as Elon Musk had done similarly in America. And I answered, how can you possibly be asking that of Tony Elumelu? Tony Elumelu is a member of the Nigerian reigning class. A veritable member, a beneficiary of the system. Why would he fight against the system? I think then I translated the Yoruba proverb, I said he's an impoverished rich man. That was the extent of everything I said. At best, you call that vulgar abuse. So I was actually quite irritated that a man I expect that someone like Tony Elumelu should be too busy to be nitpicking about what opinion anybody might have to say, whatever anybody might have to say about him. Least of all, someone like me, who am I that I am of interest or that I cares about what I have to say? I'm admittedly a madman. I told all of you severally. So I didn't think I should be of interest to Tony Elumelu. So I was irritated, and I made my irritation clear. And I told the gentleman, DCP Nwuga, if you have a charge for me, keep me in your cell. Today is Wednesday. At the latest, by Monday, you should be done drafting your charges. So keep me in your cell. When it is Monday, you would have been done with filing your charge. You can then take me to court. They didn't build your cell for goats. The people in there, they are not animals. Me, I'm not taking bail. At this point, he went up to what I now later realized was the AIG's office. Long story cut short, after some back and forth, the AIG asked us to come in because Nwuga was in, we were outside. I was out. Well, you pardon me, I don't know how to pronounce this, everything. So, we were outside and we were eventually asked to come in. And it was at that point that I recognized that lawyer. The lawyer who wrote the petition had been hanging around whilst my statement was being taken, whilst I was in the DCP's office. I didn't know who he was, but now he was in the AIG's office. And the AIG asked him, do you have the authority of Mr. Elumelu to write this petition? He said, yes, he did. So the AIG said, well, you would have to tell your client to write us himself under his own hand to ask for Mr. Farotimi's prosecution. I was incensed that he would be asking that. But I could also recognize the delicacy of his position. Here is the very best friend of Mr. President who just went to France with him, demanding the prosecution of an irritant like me. Who was I? But the AIG used his discretion, and me, I'm a Yoruba boy. When somebody has tried to diffuse a situation, I accepted the way he diffused the situation. So, he asked us to go. He told the man who had been talking bail that Mr. Farotimi is not unknown to you. When you asked him to come, he came at your invitation. I'm sure if you need him again, you can always ask him to come. You will soon understand the importance of this background. Just bear with me. So, when we got back downstairs, DCP turned to me and said, come back next week, Thursday. I had things already scheduled for that day. I did not argue.